to the wire, backs off. Here we go, Soldaev.
A little bit of dirty boxing.
To the back. Can he get him? Yes!
Up and over, there's the suplex! Unbelievable!
So these are the numbers. The only one of real significance, I would imagine, is the age difference. Soldaev at 25 and Rutkowski at 33, but make no mistake, Rutkowski is game, and this is going to be a tough night in the office for both boys here. So, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Our referee, Mr. Łukasz Bujaczki. And this will be contested at featherweight. Do we think it's going the whole 3?
I don't think so. I think Soldaev is going to be very, very motivated. I'd look out for him to push the pace with the boxing. Rutek off the counter could be intriguing.
So, we know that that background in Greco-Roman wrestling has not been exercised at all in his recent outings. It's the boxing skills. He loves to mix it up, and he's got great boxing skills. Soldaev has a traditional background. There's karate floating around there, as well as the judo that I mentioned. But what a Cinderella story. Came to the first Colosseum event as a fan, and at number 2, here he is on the card against, well, the top contender in the division.
He's got a great team behind him too. RB Shimaev, that's Pudzianowski's coach. Anzor Angiev. You know, he's the protege of Mamad Khalidov, let's not forget. So this could be a changing of the guard.
So see Rutkowski defend that kick, and he comes in with the overhand shots. I mean, like a brawler. He switches it up so well, Rutkowski, doesn't he? I mean, he's a real fan of boxing. He must have studied all the greats, because he's using all the styles. Leading with clean left hand, switch hitting, throwing in hooks there, little catch hooks that are causing problems, and then comes in overhand with the head down, brawling his way in. And Soldaev having to work out where the pain and the punishment might be coming from.
And the key is the exaggerated movements from Soldaev, like his head movement way outside to chamber up that right coming in. It's very, very sneaky.
So, a little bit of a Philly roll there from Rutkowski. He's a real fan of the gentleman's art. Finds his way into the midsection. And yeah, I mean, this is a guy that loves his boxing, and yet wrestling is his game. Incredible, huh? So, this round has settled down. Both fighters trying to find a way in. And, so, little clash there as they both try to come in. On the inside, Rutkowski just needs to be careful with his head. He's using that to burrow his way in on the inside and get inside, and a little bit of dirty boxing. That's a great kick to the midsection if he can land it. Rutkowski sees it coming and blocks and defends every time.
Yeah, I'm looking Rutek off the counter right now. Soldaev is trying. He's doing little things like that, like where he swaps up his stance and whips in the uppercut to try to find headspace, to try to time Rutek and really lead this dance, but Rutek is just staying very, very balanced, very organized. Now the first tie-up. This is the big question mark for me. Was Rutek really going to back up the pre-fight talk and try to stay standing with Soldaev, or quite logically press the clinch? He's a Greco guy, let's not forget.
Got a powerful look at him using the legs there to keep Soldaev on the wire. Great wrestler, as you'd imagine, with that background. And I mean, you know, Soldaev really needs to have his wits about him. This is a tough night in the office for Soldaev, Christoph.
Yeah, very, very tough. It's almost got that sense right now from what I'm watching. It's like a man versus a boy feel to it right now. Whereas Soldaev's just having a hard time figuring out, and Rutkowski's coming in there and having fun with everything. Using angles, using switches, using his style for Greco-Roman style right now with the pressure that he's putting on. It's really, really hard for Soldaev to get out of this.
So up on the wire. And the slow grind begins. And Rutkowski knows that all he needs to do is take enough of the sting out of the tail of Soldaev and take his man to the ground and then get to work. Knee goes up. Soldaev listening desperately to his corner, taking instruction, trying to find a way to counter Rutkowski. It's a great defense against a guy that's a Greco-Roman wrestler, Chris.
It is. This is where Reginaldo Vieira really failed against Rutek, and undoubtedly, oh, there we go, equipment failure. Well spotted by Łukasz Bozacki.
So, clock back on. Ducks in nicely under Soldaev's guard, Rutkowski, but stays up this time and throws the overhand, and up goes the kick, but Rutkowski has the defense there. And, you know, 10-second clapper, that's incredible that this round has flashed before our eyes. But I was going to say, that's the defense of a real class player, when the hands are up, but the body is protected. Corner absolutely furious in their efforts to shout out instructions to improve Soldaev's performance here. So round 2 of that schedule 3. So that little check hook from Rutkowski causing a problem. Switch hitting all the time. I mean, it's really frustrating for Soldaev.
I feel like a lot of opponents for Soldaev have wilted under his power and his pressure, and Rutek has just stayed so composed.
So Soldaev starting to build his own attacks now. Starting to finally work out what's required here. Himself coming in low and throwing that overhand. But Rutkowski's a little bag of tricks, isn't he? Switch hitting all the time, constantly moving, and really presenting so much difficulty for Soldaev to get the crosshairs on.
And his wrestling will open up a lot of this, because Soldaev really isn't able to do anything. We saw it against the fence earlier. And there, you see that? He actually threatened the knee tap and then pulled it, and then now he's going to go for double unders. He's just got so many different physical things to make the fight uncomfortable.
Yeah, and uncomfortable is the word for Soldaev. He just can't settle into his rhythm, because once he gets the boxing worked out, there you go. Rutkowski is on him like Velcro. And, you know, you're not going to get away from a guy with that kind of wrestling experience.
And how tight was that underhook? You can see him just kind of with his grip there.
There's a good forearm in there. Elbow managed to land. Back to the boxing. And, this is, as with all the matchups on tonight's card, they're so close, and they're really the best of the best here tonight, facing each other and battling it out. So Rutkowski still hasn't got the real angle on Soldaev, though. You know, he's busy in there, busier than a bishop's hat. But has he got what it takes to put this boy away? Because Soldaev, when he lands, well, he can cause a lot of trouble.
And the thing is, they're both seeing the target, but no one's landed on it clean yet.
So having to defend. Rutkowski on the wire and doesn't manage it this time. Rutkowski with the double legs takes his man down now. And as Christoph always says, as soon as you hit that mat, you come back straight up.
Very smart by Soldaev right there. There's been a lot of trouble.
Well, for a minute there, it was the Hall of Mirrors in the funfair of pain for Soldaev. You do not want to be on the ground with Rutkowski on top. So he's managed to bounce back up, got the knee there, but Rutkowski is desperate to take his man down here.
Let's see what he can do with it. He went below the waist. I love that double. He just got those hands clasped, pulled the legs away. But Soldaev is uniquely gifted in the athletic department. He's just a really fast twitch type of guy. But unfortunately, someone like Rutek is so well versed. There we go. High underhooks, really high. Gets the duck under, belly to back. Can he get him? Yes!
Up and over, there's the suplex! Unbelievable! Rutkowski brings the grappling in. But look at Soldaev, hits the mat, comes straight back up there. What a dead cat bounce reflex that was. Rutkowski must be saying to himself, how do I get this man on the ground and keep him down?
He's working hard here, Will. Let's see if he can complete. That's the thing. These wrestlers put 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts together.
Well, this, so far, is keeping all its promises in terms of excitement and fun and giving. And look at him off the wire. He will not have it. Adam Soldaev comes out swinging for the fences, looking to focus on. And if he can get a good clean hit in, well, he might be able to back Rutkowski up.
His corner absolutely furious. He's got to pull the trigger. They want urgency from Soldaev, but the thing is, Rutek has breeded uncertainty with that wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. When you don't know where and when, those are the big questions, and they must run through your head. We saw a nice little Muay Thai elbow that got through, and that hurt Rutkowski. He's backed off just a little bit because that caused a little bit of concern, but he's back to his old tricks. And, you know, to go up against Saladin Panas, you've got to come with an armory. You're not a one-trick pony. You've got to have several, and I mean several, strategies and a panoply of strikes available to you. And you can see why Rutkowski did so well and why he's the #1 contender.
And look at the head movement. One big punch, a whipping overhand from Soldaev. Head movement from Rutek, threatens the clinch, pushes him up to the wire, backs off. Here we go, Soldaev, jumping scissor knee from outside, red like a book from Rutek.
So that was on the 10-second clapper. That was all on the bell.
Changes it up, and Soldaev's got to do something big this round, or it's over.
Absolutely. We've come to the third round in this matchup. Fighting blue, Adam Soldaev. Fighting red, Daniel Rutkowski, in this featherweight encounter. And as Shistov said, on Saturday night, go big or stay home. Well, it's not for the want of trying. Adam Soldaev has tried to land some heat, but he's looking at a will-o'-the-wisp. Rutkowski is all over him like a drunk on a kebab. I mean, he's just eating this up, Rutkowski. Now he's gone for the wrestling, and he's really starting to take advantage here. We saw a suplex at the end of the last round. He's desperate to get his man on the ground, Rutkowski, because he knows that's where he'll finish him. He's too strong, Soldaev. He's taken shots right on the target. What you've got to do to put this man away is unbelievable. But Rutkowski is trying to find the key to the lock.
I always felt like in this matchup, if somebody had to make bigger adjustments from their previous tendencies to win, it was Soldaev. And we just haven't seen him pull the trigger with the explosiveness that we've seen earlier in his career. Rutek is doing what Rutek does. The Greco chops, the ability to open up his game with that wrestling, good defensive boxing, and landing the perfunctory punch. I think he's cruising.
Yeah, when you have this top level of wrestling as your background, you're willing to take risks, and you're willing to have fun in there and trying things, because you can always go back to the well and go back to what you're really, really good at. But he's gotten his hands to that point where his hands are so good that everything's so evenly matched now he can throw anything he wants from anywhere.
Well, this is perfect choreography from Rutkowski. His timing, when to let go, his timing when to apply pressure has been absolutely perfect. He's starting to look just a little bit battle-weary here. I mean, there must be a point psychologically when you say, what do I need to do to put this guy away? And look at Soldaev, he's still coming forward, and he's still able to hurt. And Rutkowski, just a little bit of sparkle gone from that earlier game.
It's very rare when you look at a corner and 3 or 4 of them are shouting. Usually there's one person leading the whole conversation, but something is not right with Soldaev here in my view. He's just too lackadaisical.
So Rutkowski using the opportunity to build again. Switch hits. Both getting tagged, these fighters, with crisp shots that I would venture any other fighters would be dropped by. And Soldaev now in the wilderness here, and a red flag that at this stage he hasn't come up with something that's going to cause a problem for Rutkowski. He's tired, Soldaev defends, but there's the energy, and Rutkowski takes him down. But look at this, Soldaev has an arm, doesn't capitalize, puts in an uppercut, but Rutkowski just way too tough. Do you know what this says to me? You have to understand the level that Saladin Panas is operating at if Soldaev cannot put Rutkowski away, and Rutkowski is struggling to put Soldaev away.
It's also the decision-making, though. Soldaev made some poor decisions, backing up to the fence. Like, why would you throw a knee like that and give Rutek the opportunity to take you down? I like the jab. We're seeing a bit more of a jab here in this round from Soldaev. He's tagged Rutek once or twice with it.
Well, it's a brilliant, intelligent performance from Rutkowski. The perfect balance of boxing and grappling. It's interesting for me that Soldaev hasn't used his kicks more. When he's in the pocket and throwing those punches, if he was delivering constant low kicks, and I say this every time, you know I'm a stand-up guy, and, you know, I just don't understand. There's the turn, and over he goes. Body slam. Rutkowski has the back. Soldaev, can he escape? And I was waxing lyrical about dropping low kicks in from the stand-up point of view. All of that negated now because Rutkowski has his man, but he can't keep him there.
Yeah, they've clearly drilled this. It's clearly been an effective thing, at least for Soldaev, to get up to the fence, crawl up to the fence, rebuild his base. You see him go to his knees and actually give up his back a second ago to get here. It's all good, but... And it's actually been probably his best round, where he's tagged Rutek with an elbow, a couple of good jabs. There hasn't been a ton of significant punches landed or kicks from Rutek. The takedowns have been merely changing a position with no real meaningful offense coming from it. So it's good, but he's still being shut down.
This is another beautiful matchup, like the Leo Brichta and the Maciej Kajeczko, where they're two perfectly matched fighters that just give you such a demonstration of high-level skill. There's the 10-second clapper, nothing meaningful. Rutkowski all the way. I think that's a foregone conclusion. But I go back to my earlier point, and I just have to indicate that there is a title bout on tonight, and that is Saladin Panas and Marian Zhukovsky. And you just have to look at the level Zhukovsky has to reach to get rid of Saladin Panas, because just looking at Soldaev is the perfect package, and Daniel Rutkowski managed this just like he had a little puppy on a lead.
That was a spanking. That was a total spanking.
There you go. Chris, can you expand on that?
I can. It was one of those things where I think Rutek just made little adjustments, and there were a lot of big moves from Soldaev. He went for the Hail Marys, if you will. He tried to knock it out of the park a few times to get the home run. That was good. I think the defensive wrestling from Soldaev was good. It wasn't good enough to keep him off the fence. I've got Rutek winning at least 2 rounds. I think he gets this thing comfortably.
For your winner, by unanimous decision, Daniel